Alright, so the third person in the Elite Four is Agatha, and she would normally have Ghost type Pokemon, but it's randomized once again. So she's gonna go ahead and lead with a Manectric, and I'm gonna start off with my Camerupt. So I'm gonna go for the Earthquake, and I'm gonna get it down way to the red, and it's gonna use a full restore, of course. So I'm just gonna go for another one here, and it knocks it out, which is really lucky. Must have gotten minimum damage. So it's gonna go into a Staryu, so I'm just gonna pull out my Sceptile and use Leaf Blade on it. I only have a few of those left, so that might be a problem. But I'm just gonna knock it out in one hit, take the knockout. First team is gonna go to a Cyndaquil. So I'm just gonna go into my Sharpedo, and I'm gonna use Waterfall and knock it out. Next is Vileplume. It's probably the only challenging Pokemon on their team, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go into my Dragonite, and I'm gonna use Aerial Ace. It's going to use Stun Spore, of course, because that's all Vileplume does, but I'm kind of glad because he might actually have Sleep Power, so that's a little better. Going to go for the Aromatherapy, and I'm going to do another Aerial Ace, but it's going to use a full Restore, so um, that's a problem. But it's going to use Petal Dance, which is I'm times 4 resistant, so it doesn't matter. And I'm just going to go for another Aerial Ace. So he's down in the red now after 2 Aerial Aces, so I'm just going to go for one more to get the knockout here. Now it's going to go to Krabby, and I think I'm just going to go to my Manectric and just use Thunder on it. Just knock it out in one hit. So Agatha was probably the easiest one out of all of them. Alright, so the first person is Lance, and he would usually have Dragon Pokemon, but it's randomized, so he'll just have random Pokemon. But this is probably one of the easier battles in the Elite Four, so let's just get started. So he leads with the Venusaur, and I'm going to go for the Eruption after he does the Growth and gets his special attack raised. So I'm going to go over the Eruption. It does a really good amount of damage, but he is going to withdraw the Venusaur, and I'm going to have to use Eruption on the Seadra, which means I only have 3 of those left. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch out to my Sceptile, and I'm going to use Leaf Blade after he uses this Hydro Pump, which did a pretty decent amount of damage. Going for the Leaf Blade, and they're going to go back into a Yanma, which I'm going to pull out my Manectric, and I'm going to use a Thunder just to knock it out in one hit. But it does go for the Supersonic, but I do hit with the Thunder, which is really lucky, so I'm glad that happened. So, and they're going to go back into their Venusaur, so I'm just going to go over to my Dragonite, and I'm just going to use Aerial Ace to get the knockout. So they're going to go to Electric, so I'm just going to go ahead and switch over to my Camerupt and use Earthquake, and hopefully get the one-hit KO knockout. It's going to go for a Bite. Does a pretty good amount of damage for level 66 Electric, but that's alright. So it goes to it. It's going to go to a Zatu, and I was contemplating whether I should put my Sharpedo or my Manectric in there, but I decided on Sharpedo because this thing can't really hit me. So I'm going to go for the crunch after he confuses me, and I'm just going to do about half. So it's going to do a wish, and then wish again, but I snap out of my confusion and I knock it out. So that's probably definitely one of the easier battles in the Elite Four. And of course, this is my rival, and his name is Assface. I just decided to nickname him that because I thought it would be funny, but kind of backfired a little bit. Didn't expect it to use in a video. So they're just going to leave with a Strip G, and I'm going to go for the Eruption, um, just like I did on the Venusaur, and it's going to do a ton of damage, all the way down to like 1 hit point. So for some reason I go for the Earthquake. I think that was a misclick, but it's going to do a little bit of damage. Then he's going to go for the Pound, and I'm going to do the Eruption once more, and hopefully this knocks it out, but no, it leaves it without a few hit points left. So it's going to go for another Pound. I'll take it out with an Ember. Level up to level 54. Now the Tropius is actually one of the harder Pokemon to take out on this guy's team. I know from the first time, so I'm just gonna go for the Blizzard and hope for the best. It's times 4 effective, but it doesn't quite knock it out. But that Body Slam is the most annoying part about this Tropius. So I'm gonna go for the Fly, I get left with one hit point, get really lucky, and I don't get fully paralyzed. So I'm gonna knock out the Tropius in a few turns. So level up to level 52, and now we're gonna go for the Silcoon. So the Silcoon, I'm just going to use Eruption on just to ensure the one-hit KO, because I don't think I'll be needing Krakatoa for the rest of the battle. And comment if you guys like my nicknames on my Pokemon. They're actually pretty good. So I'm going to go for Ninetales. I'm going to go back to my Jaws, which is Sharpedo, and I'm going to go for Waterfall, because I thought that Ninetales didn't have that great of a defense, but its special defense is actually its weakness. So I'm just going to go for Surf and knock out the Ninetales. So now it's just going to go into a Mareep, which is pretty simple. I'll just go to my Krakatoa Crammer up, and I'm going to go for an Earthquake and knock it out in one hit here. So it's going to go for the Light Screen, but I don't think that really matters for the rest of the battle. Um, Should have set that up earlier, but here's a Swallow. This thing is a complete beast. So I'm just going to go to my Espeon, and I'm going to use Psychic on it, and it'll only do a little bit of damage. So I'm just going to go for another Psychic, and it'll just keep on stockpiling. So let's just hope it doesn't use Spit Up. And I get a critical hit on the last Psychic. So that was my rival. And of course, Espeon's trying to use Morning Sun, but of course that move kind of sucks, so I'm just going to not learn it. Now we're going to go back into the Hall of Fame and enter in my Pokemon. So yeah, he just blabbered on why he lost. And then Professor Oak comes in. I guess he beat the Elite Four, but he's just congrats. And I've grown up with my Charmander, which AKA is a camera up, and that was my starter. It was not like a Nemo, it was an actual camera up that I just started with. So now we're going to go back to the Hall of Fame, and we are going to enter in my amazing Pokemon. So we have Camerupt, Espeon, Sceptile, Sharpedo, Manectric, and Dragonite. So that's probably one of my favorite teams that I've ever had. That was pretty interesting. I really liked having Espeon. Espeon I've never used before, believe it or not, because everybody uses it. So I'm just going to go ahead and play some music, and you guys can watch the credits at the end. So thank you guys so much for a year on YouTube, and I really appreciate it. Stay tuned for a walkthrough, which hopefully the first part will be coming out next week. I know I've said it for a while, but this time it's really happening. So thanks, guys, so much.